Hello everybody, Glitch here. I want to give a review of Just Cause 4 compared against one of the better titles like GTA5. Now, Just Cause 4 is one of the competing sandbox games that's been around for a long time. GTA was the first one to come out that really was successful. But I just want to make a quick comparison here of my review of Just Cause 4. Now, first off, graphically, Just Cause 4, it's good. It's borderline HD, not quite as detailed as maybe you see on, especially on something like GTA5, where they really have those really sharp, crisp graphics that everybody likes. But these are good graphics, okay, nonetheless. Now, as far as games go, this is probably the funnest game, sandbox of all time, in my opinion. There's nothing you can't do. There's nowhere you can't go. The multitude of weapons at your disposal as you kill people. You know, everybody drops ammo for the most part. They drop weaponry. You're never like running and not having a gun to shoot or some other advantage. Your survivability is very high. This makes it just more fun to play. Is it realistic? No. But as we know, games aren't about realism. It's about having fun. The scenario is you're in South America. You're kind of like a freedom fighter that's trying to, I guess, take over the oppressive government faction that's running the country. Probably communist dictatorship, you name it. So you're just trying to cause chaos, and basically the freedom fighters, which you fight for, become your allies as you free up different areas and take them over. And you gain ground on the map, and you have allies supporting you in incursions such as this. Now, this is on the border of what my allies have taken over, so it's in basically a war zone between those two zones, I guess, until it's taken over or whatnot. Which most of the time you gotta do mission-based objectives in order to really take over these strongholds or add on to your map area that's under your control or liberated. So that's pretty cool. It keeps you interested if you just want to run around and keep stuff and have fun. That's always available. Non-stop action. Anything you want to do. Now, one thing I liked about GTA, let's say GTA 3 was the first really good sandbox version of GTA. You could run around, cause all kind of problems. You know, obviously the police start coming after you. You could hold them off without a major threat if you knew what you were doing. That made the game fun. It was, you know, for me, it was, you know, how long can you survive without getting killed or whatever, arrested possibly. And there's a lot. You could go a long time, right? It was fun. Now, GTA 4 and 5, they escalated things pretty quickly, extremely quickly, and basically you were done for once you had 3 stars or higher in GTA. Very hard to avoid. You might be able to hide, etc. But an open fight against the police, impossible. In most cases that I was aware of. But in Just Cause, they brought something back, which is you can survive no matter what. There's a way around it. If you have to run, you can, of course. But your survivability is much higher. Not very realistic, but you can take a lot of damage. That keeps the fun in the game, in my opinion. You can really just have fun and see how far you can take it, whether fighting an entire army at some point. Now, let's talk about destruction. The environment's very destructible, vehicles of course, and structures. But not only just do they blow up, as you see in this clip here, it's dynamic. Like there's a fuel cell in the background. When that is shot, this is new that they've added Just Cause 4. It kind of bullet holes appear, and fuel and flame starts shooting out holes, and it basically launches it or moves it in the direction of those flames, which kind of ties into all the fun weaponry and equipment that your character has at his disposal. But not only do you have the grappling hook, which you can see used all the time, it's your main resource. You can use that as a booster, which we'll get into a little bit later. You can grapple any items you want together. You could grapple a vehicle to the ground. It's going to pull it toward wherever your grapple point is. You could grapple people to vehicles. Whatever you want. This creates a very open world environment where you can do whatever you want to do. And it's fun. It's always fun. What makes Just Cause the funnest sandbox, one of the funnest in my opinion for sure, is how large scale their environment is. Now everybody's played GTA 5 knows that's a pretty big map in GTA 5. But the map you see here, it's at least 5 times the size of GTA. And I mean, from terrain, weather conditions. Just Cause 4 has tornadoes. The higher up you go, you have weather systems, clouds, anything you can think of. It's really dynamic, and just the sheer scale and activity on any particular site is unbelievable. That they have it all maintained and running all at the same time. It makes the whole game fun. It's very immersive when you start playing. It's pretty obvious very quickly. Nothing boring really going on. You do whatever you want and you're gonna have fun no matter where you go. Now, as far as the missions go, they're pretty straightforward. It's kind of a mix between Tomb Raider and GTA 5. Your equipment's dynamic and it's fun to use. You activate items like you see here, and a lot of good thought into these missions. They're fun.
I can tell what kind of day this is going to be.
The depth of the terrain is pretty amazing. I mean, there was a lot of thought put into these missions and just the overall gameplay. Where they've sacrificed maybe a little bit graphically, they've by far made up for with gameplay and fun. Now here's an example of using a booster. Here's some boosters being used on some poor animals, just to show how dynamic everything is and open world. You can have fun doing whatever you want. So overall, here's the stats between Just Cause 4 and GTA 5. Obviously graphics are the #1 item for GTA 5, as everybody knows. But everything else, if you play the game, I think this is a pretty fair assessment as far as graphics, destruction, survivability, weapons, fun. I think is a big factor in games. And weather environment, 29 versus 22. Just Cause 4, try it out.